living in a dynamic environment that is and always has and always will be changing. And you are adaptive beings. And by that we mean not just adaptive to your environment, but adaptive to the energy stream that you are about. You are an extension of source energy. If you've been listening to us for a while, you have heard that from us often. You are here in these physical bodies as an extension of so much more. And remembering that so much more part and acknowledging the right now existence of it and transmission of it is really good for you, because as you acknowledge that there is that part of you, aware of where you are right now, aware of what your perspective is and what your opinion about your perspective is, your inner being is aware of right now, your right now too. And so as your inner being is aware of where you are in relationship to where you want to be, your inner being is always calling you in the direction of who you really are, of who you really all are, of who all of you really is, of the whole of who you are, calling you toward that. Because as you are moving in the direction of that wholeness, as you are moving in the direction of the desires that are new in every moment, that's where you feel not just ease or not just relief, but in time, enough momentum that you feel true satisfaction, true exhilaration, true sense of wholeness, a true sense of well-being. And not just well-being in the sense that something troubling is being resolved, but well-being in the sense that here you are, all of you, the physical you and the non-physical you, focused together in thought and focused together in attraction. If you've listened to us for a little while, we know that you know that we talk never-endingly about the powerful law of attraction and how it is the manager of all things. And we talk to you about managing your thoughts by paying attention to the way you feel and blah, blah, blah. You've heard all of it. You know that. We know that you understand and know that. And recently we've been describing to you with a little more emphasis that you are often, if you are like most humans, giving your attention to what is manifesting around you, and therefore that's what you're calibrating to. In other words, the vibrational output that you are generating is happening because of what you are observing. That's normal, not altogether helpful for you, but understandable, certainly, and in that sense, normal, certainly. So as you are observing what's happening around you in any point in time, by your attention to that, you are offering a vibration which is you calibrating to that, and you therefore establishing a stronger point of attraction. And the law of attraction is responding to what your vibrational output is. But we really want you to remember that while that's happening with you from your human perspective, from your thoughts that you are thinking, that there is another part of you, a much larger part of you, who is at this same moment, in this same time, in this now, in this universal now where non-physical and physical co-create or conspire. That non-physical part of you is also offering a vibration. Now, that vibration is exciting for us to talk about, because that is the vibration. That's really the whole of who you are. That's really the present tense of who you are. Because as you're in your physical form, when you know what you don't want, you are launching a rocket of desire about what you do want. And that vibrational emission is transmitted from you and received by your inner being. And your vibrational reality is expanding. We call that your vortex. We want so much for you to accept it as something that is real and something that is now, especially since it's where your inner being is. your inner being standing there as the never-ending, always in the moment culmination of all that your life is causing you to be. So that vibrational reality is vivid, but the most important thing that we're wanting to say about that right now is that that is your most powerful point of attraction. Knowing what you don't want may be what you and your human thoughts are thinking most about. But this vibrational reality that you have been and are generating, that's really what is most powerfully being responded to. We have said over time that that point of attraction is millions of times more powerful than what you're giving your thoughts to right here, right now. And that's why we can always say to you with absolute certainty that the well-being is dominant and will always prevail. But there is a question about how much you torture yourself in any given moment in time as you focus upon a now reality rather than focusing toward the solution reality. You cannot focus upon a problem and a solution at the same time, but we are not asking you to do that. You came knowing that you would focus upon what's happening around you, knowing that by knowing what you don't want, that there would be a culminating within you, a vibrational launching of clarity of what you do want. And you knew it was a good idea. You did not say, I'll go forth and be surrounded only by things that please me in every moment, and therefore my vibrational offering will be easy because it will just be a knee-jerk reaction to what I'm observing. You said, I'll go forth into this new environment, into this always new environment, physical environment, ever-changing environment. And as I focus there, I will continuously, steadily launch rockets of desire. And those rockets of desire will really represent who I am. You knew that before your birth into this physical body. And so we want to remind you that that is really what's going on. This vortex version of you, this non-physical version of you, this preceding version of you, this getting ready to manifest version of you. This is pure positive energy, and your inner being is focused there. Source energy is focused there. And the well-being, the collective well-being of the collective consciousness of your planet right now has caused this vortex to vibrate and summon with such power and clarity that as you're able to just get a whiff of it and turn your attention to it just a little bit, you will feel not just relief from focusing in opposition to the larger part of you, but you will begin, if you stay there for just a little bit, to feel your momentum join the momentum, the vibrational frequency momentum of this enormous flow of well-being that is happening around your planet. You get to be in on the leading edge of all of this. Of course, it doesn't matter if you are or not. In other words, terrible things aren't going to come to you because you're focused in a way that makes you feel fear or despair. It doesn't work that fast. It's not like that. You have a huge buffer of well-being. You have more well-being than you know. So we are not encouraging your attention toward the solution part of who you are or to the whole of who you are because there is an urgency or a desperation for you that requires it. We're encouraging it because we don't think for a moment you should feel fear. We don't think for a moment you should feel despair. We're talking in terms of how we would feel if we were standing in your physical shoes. We would focus ourselves as best we can in the direction of what feels best to you moment by moment. We also want you to know that what is, in terms of your now reality, is. In other words, we're not asking you to deny it or to fake it or pretend that it's something else, because you are adaptive beings and you can adapt to your environment. You can adapt to these temporary conditions. You can do it with greater ease than you may know right now. So we're not asking you to just all of a sudden turn your attention to something that feels better. It's not even possible really to do that. It would be like seeing someone who is just coming off the ski lift and they are headed down the ski slope and they hit some rough snow, an icy patch, something that trips them up, and now they are tumbling downward on the slope. And you could not look at them and say to them, stop, right now, stop, and expect them to do that because they've got some momentum going. And it's all right that you have some going too. But when you remember that while you have some momentum going, in response to what you're watching on television or hearing from one another or from social media, while you are naturally responding to what you see, no one's asking you to stop thinking that way or stop feeling what you're feeling, because that is irrational. But what we are encouraging you to do is to recognize that you do have an inner being who has a different perspective, an overview, an inner being who always, at all times, knows right where you are standing in your human perspective and form in relationship to where you want to be. And we want to say that you have never launched such clarity before. Your inner being is offering a vibrational frequency to you with such clarity that the likelihood of you tuning into it is much greater now than ever before. Esther used to tease with us and with Jerry, and she would say, Abraham, why is it that I always seem to shine in a crisis? And what she meant was, didn't matter if there was something going wrong, it seemed to cause her to rise to the occasion. And we always teased her and said, because the crisis makes you focus. And we want you to realize that you have the opportunity to focus not upon the crises, but upon the solutions. Not upon where you are right now, but where your vibrational reality has come to be as a result of what you have been observing. We want you to feel the wholeness of who you are, or at least we want you to acknowledge that there is that wholeness of you that is broadcasting to you, and that it is possible for you to find that frequency, and when you do, you will feel what it feels like from our point of view. You'll feel clarity because that's what we feel. And you will feel stability because that's what we know. And you will feel eagerness because new ideas are flowing. You will feel newfound creativity. Esther said, it feels like my brain is firing on all cylinders. It's like many thoughts are coming one after the other, and many times on different subjects, but still there is a continuity to it all. She is not feeling overwhelmed or confused, as normal life sometimes causes her to feel, because there is a stronger asking globally, a stronger asking from her personally, and all of that is serving her when she gets in the vicinity of us, of who we are, and it will serve you too. So, there's lots to think about, we know. And there are many opportunities to think about subjects of large variety from different points of view. And we want to remind you that it's normal to have a knee-jerk response to something, that when you're calibrated to that energy will call you to. In other words, there's a certain momentum that you will feel, maybe some urges or something that may even feel to you like inspiration, because it's a momentum that is calling you to something. And while it's normal, and we are not encouraging you at all to try to not do that, because that's like asking the skier on the slope to stop that momentum just because you want him to. But we do want you to remember that there is another momentum that is so much more powerful. And it is much easier for you to tune into the frequency of that. And when you do, that momentum will give you not just a feeling of relief, it will be that and more. Not just a feeling of relief, but, as we just said, feelings of clarity and feelings of eagerness and feelings of newness and feelings of creativity, feelings of more, clear thoughts and feelings of all that is now coming as a result of what you are living. When that happens to you, it's interesting to watch you, because it could be something, as you might call it, we don't, but you might